let's get started.
Okay, welcome back to TNT. This is a lot has changed since we did our last video.
It's been tons of change since we did our last video, so we're going to talk about what's going on in the markets right now.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, we ready?
We're ready.
Perfect.
Okay, TNT.
Got it. Okay, so the coronavirus and how it's affected the market, and that's what we're going to chat about a little bit today. Just to kind of give everybody an idea of what to expect, what's going on, why they're doing it. I don't know if you have any questions, how you want to.
Yeah, and I'm gonna talk too a little bit about how do we proceed, like how do we go forward. So after you do your intro.
Okay, so let's talk about the why, and I think we'll kind of go from there. So obviously a lot of things have been shut down. We're expecting another announcement. We're looking at even a bigger shutdown of things. So why would the government want to do this, or why are they trying to do this? And I want to kind of put it in this way, and this is a really good way of looking at it. But let's say one person came here who was infected, and that one person gave it to 10 people, and then those 10 people gave it to 10 more people. Now you have 100 people infected. Now, looking at the statistics of this, if 100 people were infected, 85 of them will be fine, right? So they'll go on, they might get flu-like symptoms, nothing's really going to happen to them. But then you're going to get 15 of them that are going to go to the hospital. And out of those 15, 5 are going to need special care or a respiratory system, something to get them alive. And that's where the scare is really starting to jump in. And that's mostly the elderly, people with weak immune systems, the ones that we want to be careful not to give it to. So let's take a look at that 100 people, and let's say they infected 10 people each. Well, now you have 1,000 people who are infected. And if you do the numbers again, so that's 850 people who are fine. Now you've got 150 people getting admitted into a hospital, which is starting to overflow the hospital. And out of that, you've got 50 people who need to be on respiratory care of some sort, and they don't have the equipment to do it. And you don't want to be in a position where the doctor's got to make a choice between should this guy live or this guy die just because they don't have the proper medical care.
And that's happening in Italy and in Spain. I mean, they're saying that.
So it's happening right now in other countries. So how do you prevent that from happening? Well, the answer is really simple, and that's why we're having the shutdown. So it's really about slowing down that curve, that we don't get so many infected at once. It's not going to stop it by any means. It's going to continue. It's probably going to continue for the next year to 2 years. But if we can do it over a slower period of time, then obviously you're going to have a lot less deaths, and that's why we're going to do it the way they do it.
And it's such a mindset shift, you know, like we talked about this earlier when I said, I was brought up, you think you're sick? Well, get your out and go to work. You go to work regardless. It has to be something pretty serious to keep you at home.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people have that mentality. So a lot of people don't even have symptoms and are being told to self-isolate, right?
Yep.
And that is very difficult to do, mentally. It's a big, we always talk a lot about mindset.
Oh, definitely.
On and off camera, but honestly, it's a mindset shift that is difficult for people to get. And the only part I don't like, we do see a lot on social media, right? But we see a lot of people reaching out to help. So I like that as well. But people going at each other with their own opinions. And you know what? It's
the people also taking advantage of the situation, buying up toilet paper, buying up sanitizers. I don't know what you're going to do with 50 gallons of sanitizer, but have fun with it. It's just not necessary, and you're making the situation worse, right? So why even bother? Live the way you're supposed to live, and you know what? Take this as an opportunity to spend time with your family, do the house cleaning, do the things you never had a chance to do. Make that list and go out and actually do it.
Yeah.
And do the walks. We used to do this 50 years ago. Congratulations, come back to it, right?
Right. Yeah, it is kind of an opportunity, not in the best circumstances, but and lead from the heart. We try and do business from the heart. We're always trying to help and educate people, but now more than ever, you can give from the heart instead of trying to think what you can make off of it. These people who are selling Lysol wipes for $100 or whatever it is. Just try and give from the heart. Everyone's in a situation that we just really don't know what's going on, but let's keep our heads and help each other.
Yeah, and let's go back to the blackout that happened 20 years ago. Look at the things that we did then, right? It was a great time for neighbors and community to get together, but in this case, it's a great time for families. So take advantage of it.
Yeah, that shot of were they in Spain or Italy? I think it was Italy, where they were singing or clapping out for all the help. That's amazing.
The way it should be done.
All right.
So I think the big thing here is how is this going to affect the markets? We've already seen what it's done to the Dow and the TSE and stuff like that. And yes, it's going to go down. It's going to have a correction. If you're in panic mode, don't panic unless you're there to pull your money out in the next 6 months.
Yeah.
It will bounce back, right? Like just like it did for 2008, just like it did in the big stock market crash in the 80s and the housing crash and tech crash. They're all over the place. So sure, this one might be bigger than most, but I can almost promise it's going to be back in a year to 2 years anyway. And again, that's opportunity for investing if you're doing it right. Talk to your financial planners about that one. But it's nothing to panic about. And if you think you're going to lose all your money, I always want to say this to people because they think, oh my God, my money's going to go down to zero. It will not go down to zero. If it goes down to zero, money is not your biggest problem at that point because we just lost our banking system, we just lost our government. So that is not really reality, right? And we're certainly trying to prevent anything like that from happening, so don't even think of it. But the housing market is what we're really going to touch on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so if I'm correct, you've had announcements come out, they don't even want real estate agents doing open houses and stuff. So let's go into that, right?
So
what are they doing?
It's how are we going to do business now? There are people out there who right now have their houses on the market, are actively buying, and there's people that need to do this, and there's people that want to do it. They want to take advantage of these low interest rates and get things going. But they also are first and foremost concerned about their health and someone else's. And I think that's the big thing. And not just you'll get sick, but you don't want to possibly infect someone else. So sellers, some sellers are choosing not to have open houses, and there's good reason for that. They don't want people milling around the house. The direction that was given to us is if we're going to do physical open houses, it's our responsibility to get the names, which we do usually anyway, but not only get the names of the people who are going through, but to follow up with these people over the next 14 days, because if they get symptoms, then we have a duty to report to the homeowner and to the other people that were at the open house.
Right.
So personally, I'm not going to be doing physical open houses. I'm still going to be doing active open houses for people, but it will be virtual. It'll be through Zoom. It'll be walking you around the property. Tell me what you want to look at. We're going to, like, I've got access to the entire property, but you can see it, and it's very interactive from that angle.
And the point of view, it's just another way of taking a look at how things can still get done. And you know what, even if things don't, I know there's people in a situation where they've got the house on the market because they've already purchased and now they need to sell. So there's always going to be that need. And you know, if you're sitting on the fence, we've never been in this territory before. Let's face it, that's one. So you know, everything we're saying here is a matter of opinion. Just keep that in mind.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, I always kind of look at it this way. There's still a large demand for housing, and there's still a shortage in supply. They're still not building as fast as they are. There's still a lot of immigrants coming into Canada. There's still the millennial market that's starting to move up. Even if there was to be a slight correction in the market, it would be very short-lived. And I try to get people to understand something about this. Like housing market, investment market are two different monsters. Investment market, things happen instantaneously. In fact, they even happen on speculation. Whereas the housing market can take 6 months to a year to correct or finally filter through the system. And I don't think that is going to happen in this case at all, even with the fact that some people won't be working. You know, there's systems coming out to help people with their mortgages, which has been great. A lot of lenders have come forward and say, hey, you know what, we can use the skip a payment option. You know, reach out to your lender. Don't miss a mortgage payment. Like it's, you know, don't panic about it. Reach out. They are there to help. They don't want your house. A lot of people don't understand that.
Yeah.
They really don't. No. Okay? Like at the end of the day, they're there to really help you get through this. So take advantage, make the phone call. The people are out there to help you. If it's a skip a payment option or whatever it is, or maybe they'll find a way to lower the payment or do something, or maybe it's interest-only payments until you get through. Don't forget. And
you bring up a really good point. Before I continue to talk about, like, and I'll talk briefly, but on how to get your house sold and why it's a good time to buy and sell now. There was a really great announcement that came out from Keller Williams, and it was about to everybody. This is a great time to comb your bills, go through your expenses. I know myself, like I'll get things delivered that I maybe accidentally or not put on a monthly, and they keep showing up. For some reason, we have 3 bags of Starburst that keep showing up at our house every 3 months. Mike gave it to me for Christmas, and they keep showing up. But these are great opportunities to look at these things and save money, because that's one of the best ways.
Absolutely.
All those things you don't need, or the memberships you're not going to need. I know gyms were saying that they would, you know, put them on hold or hiatus your payments. So make sure that you're taking care of those nitty-gritty things. When we get back to the housing market, houses are still for sale, and people still need to live somewhere, and there are people who still want to invest. The market is there, but we need to respond to it. And one of the things, of course, we still, when we talked last time, we were talking about needing sellers. We're still in that position. We still need people to sell their house. One thing I want you to remember is that when we're in a good market, meaning a seller's market, everyone has in their mind that magic price they want to get, and then some, right? But I want you to look at it more of as a whole. You're going to be selling and buying within this same market. We are going to have low interest rates to buy, or you're going to have You're going to have a greater source of money that you can borrow and purchase. So look at it. I'm selling in this market, but I'm buying in this market. So that's really what you want to look at. Not necessarily I need X amount of dollars just because I want that because my neighbor sold it. This is not compared to what your neighbor sold kind of
market. No,
market.
not at all.
The CMAs, and that's something else that I'm doing virtually now, is letting people walk around their houses. If they don't want me there, they can walk around their houses, show me the condition. I can give you an idea of what that will go on. But it's more than just looking at past sales now, because we have to take into account what's going on as well, right? But it is, people need to buy, so we need the houses on the market. Let's look at the big picture and at least have a conversation. I think if we just cancel, end this, my biggest thing to people is
talk, pick
converse.
Up a phone. Yeah.
And if I call or your other realtor calls, other realtor.
Glad you said that.
Pick up the phone, because it's a conversation. And I think the best thing any of us can do is really just try and answer with real knowledge. And if we don't know, trust me, I'm going to say I don't know, but let me find out. I would never give you advice, and I think we always will say check with your accountant and your lawyer regardless. But we're here to say what we see from our perspective. And it's a viable market. There are definitely ways where you can get the realtors out there, earning their bucks, doing the footwork, and still communicating with you the information you need. Definitely can answer the questions. But it is an opportunity. And there's always hope. I'm not panicking. I'm concerned about people's reactions, and I'm concerned about...
Absolutely. A lot of people are overreacting, I think. It's just a matter of discipline. But stay in home, do your diligence, and this could pass in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, right?
Well, and it's over and under, right?
That's
people
right.
are under worrying as well. But let's leave that to those people who just want to knitter amongst each other, and let's deal with the real issues, right?
We'll go with knitter.
Knitter natter. Don't knitter natter.
Knitter.
But let's talk about some real questions and have this chance to talk. So that's what I'm hoping to get out.
So one thing I'm going to bring up is let's talk about rates, because now we're also hitting historical lows, which is great. So we're running out, the Bank of Canada's now dropped almost a full percent on the variable rate or the bank rate. And we're expecting another 0.5% to come down in April, because they're trying to offset now a recession that'll be caused from this, which is, again, I don't think it's going to be much. It's probably a short-lived recession. But keep that in mind. This is a great time for buyers. It's a great time to refinance. It's a great time to do early renewals. The fixed rates are down. So there is a lot of other opportunity to clean up. And you're talking about, hey, go back through your banking. Where can we skim things through? There's a lot of opportunity here to actually take advantage of that right now, because the government's there. And the one thing we did talk about a couple of videos ago, we talked about the government incentive, where they were going to change the way they were doing the stress test. And lo and behold, they pulled that off the table until this is over. So we're still stuck with the Bank of Canada benchmark rate for the stress test, which isn't the best of news, but it's going to change. They're going to bring it. They know they have to make that change.
And we've got the further drop in interest rates that somewhat add to, bettering that opportunity for buyers.
Definitely betters the opportunity at the end of the day. So, take a look at your bank statements. Take a look at what's going through your account. Take a look at a lot of these things, because there's a good opportunity here to probably save some money in that regards and take advantage of the time and the situation. And keep this in mind. Everything can be done virtually these days. Phone calls, Zoom videos. As long as you have a computer and as long as you have power, you can pretty much do anything. It's just a matter of reaching out. Like you said, there's a lot of ways that this can be done where you don't need to have physical contact.
Absolutely. My kids, I put out a thing, my kids said they'd help out delivering groceries. They don't got to go to the door. There's other ways just to live as well that we can all help each other. But this is definitely a conversation I think you should be having. Whether you've thought about selling or not, you need to know, how does this affect me? I would want to know.
Yeah, exactly. Right? And like I said, I don't think there's much panic to be done yet, by any means.
Well, yeah, because we really don't know. And at 1
So, we don't know.
o'clock, which is right now, I think he is talking. So Trudeau.
Yeah.
So we'll see what's coming up.
See what he's going to do.
But we're going to keep going, and we're going to be here for them.
Mm-hmm.
Always available. Rob Townsley, Melissa Taylor.
Yeah, reach out, send a message, and I guess that's it for the show.
That's it.
Yeah.
Elbow bump.
Perfect.
And